You are into a life transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
I'll talk to you about two powerful oh God, give me grace. Two things that makes a church powerful. You will knock the devil out if you have it. Two things that makes a church really powerful. Do you want to win the devil? Landslide. Do you want to keep the devil out of the church? Do you want to keep the devil out of your finances? Do you want to keep the devil out of your family? Do you want to keep the devil out of your everything you do? Out of the ministry God has given us? Do you want us to have a fast growing church like this? A church that grows like this? Do you want to see a church where the anointing of God flows without limitation? It flows. Have you gone to a Kanji dam before? Have you gone to Kanji dam? Or have you gone to a dam before? Where they generate electricity and see what happens with that water, how the water rushes. There's one by Cass there. Maybe one day, if you go there and see it's rainy season, you go there and see the rush of water. That's where they generate all those hydroelectricity or currents. Do you want to see that kind of influx of God's glory? God's anointing rushing like a Kanji dam? Now I want to dismantle for you what arms the devil against the ministry and against the church. If we get it, you know, the powerful thing God gave society is called the church. It can change man's destiny. Church. And you know the devil is fighting the church of the end time, because he knows what the church has done to him over the years. The church is one of the biggest, if not even one of the biggest, is the biggest, the greatest, and the most powerful agency that God gave the nation. The most powerful agency that God gave humanity. It's shocking. You see history. Go down into history and study how civilization has been shaped. You cannot talk about it without the role of the church. You want to talk about how nations, most of the world's greatest nations were born. You can't talk about it without the role of the church. You want to talk about inventions, how science evolved. You want to talk about history, the Industrial Revolution, up to the time we enter technological revolution and all that. You can't talk about it without the roles of the church. Every revival is usually accompanied with some major breakthroughs. It can be breakthrough in science. It can be breakthrough in technology. It can be breakthrough in businesses. It can be breakthrough in even governance. There are major breakthroughs that happens when spiritual climate changes. If you want to see Nigeria, for instance, become a first world nation, the church must take her rightful place. If the church does not take her rightful place, there is no first world nation a nation can become. I give you an example using the UK, Britain. I hope you know that the Bible you carry, one of the oldest version of the Bible that was first translated from the Greek version into English version. The first version is the King James version. I hope you know King James is not just a title that they gave the Bible. King James is the name of a king. He is called the King of England. That is the father of Queen Elizabeth, the first queen of England. He is the one that wrote the Bible, that translated the Greek Bible from Greek to English version. Yet he was a politician, a monarch, a king of a nation. That's why I have a knowing in my spirit. We are getting back to the days where pastors will sit on the throne. People who think church is Jew, Church is for inferior people. Church is for people who don't have anything to offer. You don't know what you're talking about. The most intelligent people are proceeding from the church now. The people who are going to lead government are proceeding from the church now. We used to have it before. Before the time of Martin Luther Revolution, not the King Jr., the old Martin Luther Revolution. Do you know that both the seat of power and the seat of religion was in the church? What you even call the Roman Catholic Church was not just a church. The Roman Catholic Church was both the church and the state. That's why till today you have a state in the world called the Vatican. And the governor, the president of that state is not an elected politician. It is the Pope himself. He is both the religious head and the city head. That's how the world was. This is history, I'm telling you. That's the way it was constituted before now. The church had both political power and it had religious power. It was the revolution, the Puritan revolution, what do you call it? The revolution of Martin Luther that brought about the separation of power. They now removed the state from religion. Religion now became one entity, and then the state became another entity. It was not like that before. The state was in the control of the church before, because that's what the Bible said. It said that the government shall be upon his shoulders. When that separation happened, we now thought religion was religion. Face religion. You see people talking things like leave politics and face religion. When a pastor wants to deal with some things in political corridor, they are saying, no, pastor, remove your hand from politics. Who told you that? We used to be the one in charge. And we are getting back there. We missed it somewhere. There used to be a time the church controlled both education. All these public schools used to be controlled by the church, not the state. You see, something happened during the time of Peter Obi, Governor Peter Obi of Anambra State. All the state schools, the man woke up one morning and said, look, the government does not have ability to manage schools like the church does. He said, so in my administration, I'm returning all state schools back to church. He said, all the schools, missionary schools, he said, send them back to the church. They do the job better. Because education is not given just to mold the intellect. Education is actually given to mold the heart, which is the character and the morals of people. That's why you see the best university in the world, Harvard University, was founded by a pastor. His name is Reverend Harvard. And then all the principles they have used to build the product of Harvard University are all scriptural based principles. That's the school Bill Gates went to, though he stopped somewhere halfway. That's the school that has produced the best people in the world. And all the principles of management, principles of finance, principles of whatever they have used to train and release the best managers, the best CEOs, the best executive directors of companies, the best chairmen of companies all over the world. Their business schools, their financial institutions, all of them, everything they teach them, they're scriptural principles just repackaged. Watch what happened in Anambra State, for instance. The moment Governor Peter Obi returned the schools back to the churches, Anambra State became first in educational rating. It became first amongst other states. For all the years Governor Peter Obi was in power, Anambra schools were coming first position in WAEC. The best in JAM were coming from Anambra State. It's still happening to you today. You see the best in cowbell mathematics competition is coming from there. There was one that I saw on the internet. 7 people that went to represent Nigeria in a particular whatever abroad in the US. Doctors, all from Anambra State, medical students. They beat all the white kids, and all of them are from Anambra State. You want to release people to go and represent this country abroad, educationally speaking. Don't go to it. Go to Anambra. They have it there. Why? Because the man understood this thing. That education does not just train the intellect. It trains the heart. When you train image and train likeness, you have produced the complete man. That's what God created. Let us make man in our image according to our likeness and let them have dominion. When you train the intellect of man, which is the likeness dimension, and train the heart of man, which is the image dimension, you have released a God to society. So what the state is doing with schools is training the likeness, intellect. Somebody carries intellect, but he's a criminal. He's a fraudster. But now, when you combine that training of intellect, academic development, and bring training of the heart of education is the education of the heart. Educated man's mind and the man's character and man's values and ethics are in shambles. You have a dangerous society human beings are living in. Now, why am I telling you all this? So you appreciate the power of the church. You know what they have reduced church to now? A place we go to and go and knock band. People think church is about climbing keyboard and playing. They have reduced church to thinking it's about what you wear. Fashion. Fashionista. But church is a school. Church is a factory. And because the devil knows this, he knows the power, the authentic power that resides in the church or with the church. Oh, he has weapons for making sure that the church does not harness the power that is available to it. I say what you have inside the church is not in the government house. I'm telling you. He said, out of Mount Zion shall proceed deliverers. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 20. He said, deliverers shall rise out of Mount Zion. He's not talking about deliverers of the church or deliverers of nations. Governors, senators, presidents of nations arise out of the church. He said, in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be exalted above the mountains and the hills. He now said, all nations shall come into it. What that is telling you is that the church is on top of the mountains. We control the rest of the mountains. And the devil knows that if the church take her rightful place as a mountain, the rest of the mountains of the nations will be discipled. So he brings in some skills. There are some skills the man brings in to make sure that power is not harnessed. I will show you. There are actually many of them, but I want to just pick two powerful ones and deal with them. One of the skills the devil uses is the skills of disunity. The other one he uses is the skills of not walking in love. Please, anywhere you feel any little whatever, you should talk to me. Don't you can always take permission. I don't mind. I'll drop the mic and attend to you. Hello. I said the first skill is what? The skill of what? Disunity. He uses, it's a skill he has. Amazingly, he doesn't build with that skill. He uses it to scatter what people are building. But he uses the other skill, which is unity, to build. Unity is a kingdom skill. Men who know it will build the greatest towers and the greatest movement, the greatest dynasty in the world. Do you want to build a church that is so powerful, that is so anointed, where everybody is a great man and a great woman? Do you want to build a church that is sitting in dominion? A church that is carrying the blessing. A church that is influential. I like the word dominion. A church that controls things. A church that rules and overrules. A church that plants and uproots. You want to have a church of mighty men? A church of millionaires and billionaires. A church where there's no one who is feeble, no one is weak. Everyone is strong. Everyone is rich. Everyone is blessed. Everyone is great. Everyone is successful. You touch all the 7 mountains of society, you'll find our representatives all there doing well. You touch business and entrepreneurship, you will see our people are going to be beating Dangotes and beating Adenogas. You touch sports, you see we have footballers, we have basket people in the sport industry. You touch entertainment, you see we have people beating the Cobhams, people who are beating all those guys. They are competing with them and beating them hands down in the industry, beating all these Chris Brown, beating all the Jay-Z's down. You touch the ministry mountain, we have people who are beating all these great generals. We have a new crop of Charles Finney's. We have a new crop of Smith Wigglesworth, a new crop of Catherine Cummins. We have people. I'm not talking about people who you go to their church and then you see scanty chairs. Talking about sons who are in charge of thousands, multitudes. You go there, you see a real son of this house pastoring a whole nation. He goes to Russia, the Russia president in his church. He's in the UK, the prime minister in his church, and it doesn't have to be me. You come to politics, they are the ones who make decisions for nations. They are in the United Nations. They are in the African Union. They are in ECOWAS. They are in the government of their state. They are the governors. They are the senators in the Federal Republic of whatever. They are the ones who are ministers. They are ambassadors. So that if they appoint somebody an ambassador of Nigeria in Australia to Australia, the first thing he does when he lands there as a member of this church is that he plans a church. He knows, I'm ambassador of Nigeria to Australia. Is there any priest in Hills here? There's not. Pastor, thank you for all the trainings. Those days you were training me as a priest and a king. I didn't know the importance, but now I know. Now that I'm ambassador here, my first ambassadorial job is to plant a church here. Do you want to see that kind of ministry come to pass? I'm going to show you the skills. Then you will keep the devil out of the door. You just keep him permanently. He will come to church and stay at the gates. He can't come. He will just get to the gate and look. He wants to come. People already know what it takes to break the guy's spinal cord. He can't trespass anymore. When the devil sees that great thing about to come to pass, he sees a great vision God has put in a man's hand, and then this man wants to raise this. He won't allow the people understand. He won't allow the people cooperate. He won't allow the people work together. He will launch all the weapons in the world to scatter. That's how he has been from the beginning. He will always make you disagree. Do you want to have that kind of a church that rules the marketplace? I want you to start seeing a new pristine Hills. Once you start seeing this thing I'm saying now, because it's not saying it and hearing it, it's as I'm saying it, be seeing it. Let the pictures be born in your hearts. Let your eyes open to see what I'm talking about. Then you will now realize that whatever threatens it is an enemy. It is an enemy. You now know it's not your brother and your sister that is your enemy. It is that thing threatening your togetherness that is the enemy. You will now know that that guy sitting close to you is not your problem. It's not your problem. It's not your problem. It's what is threatening both of you from working together, from being in unity, from loving each other. That's your biggest enemy. You see this message, I am looking for 12 people who will volunteer, who will take it after the service, and look for brethren who are out of order. And just, you don't need to preach anything, just play it for them. Just say, bro, I need you to hear what Pastor taught us this morning. Sit down and play it for them. Let the team play and get done. Once it's done, you take, I hope you've heard it. Bye-bye. You go and find a person and play it for the person. You sit there with him. Let him hear it. I'm looking for just 12 people who will pay that price. Look at such a great and lofty vision God gave us. But there are people who are confused and blind. We are walking in this direction. This one is taking off in this other direction. How do you build like that? And then you think it is you. It's the devil. He has seen what is ahead. He has seen the beauty of the future ahead of you. A man who knows it We will not play with soul winning. A man who knows it will do everything to make sure people work together. He will never sow seed of discord because he knows his future is in this thing. He won't be there excited when he sees people falling out of faith. He won't be there looking when he sees people who are weak, who don't understand the thing. He will become a son that is helping to bet this vision in the heart of people, to burn this picture in the heart of people. He will be, because he knows. There's a young man who is pursuing me, one insurance guy. He's pursuing me up and down. Every time he's on my case. He up till late last night. That's how he's calling my line. He's sending me texts. He's always following up on me. Why? He wants me to register with the insurance. And then he wants me to, put money and all that. And all. That's how he keeps following me up and down. Anytime from now, so he may even walk into the service or walk into evening service. He's always, I'm coming for service. I'm coming with a form. Why? He knows his promotion depends on it. When you start discipling people, when you start winning souls, when you start helping fellow brethren who are stubborn, who cannot understand what I'm saying here, when you start helping them to cooperate, you are doing it knowing that your promotion depends on it. That this Pastor Ken is supposed to be a voice in nations, but how can he be when he doesn't have people under? There's a multitude of people you need to gather beneath to go up. So he won't sleep again. He knows. It's not even about them now alone. It's about me. Why does a governor travel down all the way to remote villages to give people salt, give them Maggi, just to collect one vote? He knows his election depends on it. When they finish winning the election, they may forget you. They won't go back to the village. But during that campaign period, they enter every nook and cranny. That's when you see a governor can eat roasted corn on the road. I hope you know that. That's when you see they can drink pure water on the road. That's when you see them coming down to carry granite for somebody selling. Have you not seen it in this country? When they win, you will never see them again. They are in their convoy. The same granite girl will wave. He does his face like he doesn't know. But when he was seeking for election, he knows this girl, even if he doesn't have money, her vote is power. Do you know the attendance of your brethren is power? Do you know it's power? The membership is power. It's power. You don't let people lose. You don't let people to break throughs. You don't let people to stay away in fellowship. You don't do that. You do everything within your reach, within your power to make sure people are in contact. People are in fellowship. People are together. Don't worry. Just don't worry. I'm flowing. Just leave that. You do everything to make sure the cell groups are functional. The G12 is functional. The departments are in order. Everything is, even if you are not the one in charge of, you are looking out for the other person. Because that's what we do in the kingdom. We watch the back of other people. There's loophole here. There's loophole. I'm not the one in this field, I know, but let me help my brother cover up. I need to show him there's loophole. Oh yeah, let's build this area quickly. You do it, the thing grows. Okay, you take this other side, you build it. You don't just look at things the way they are. See them from the angle of, if we don't do these things, then we'll be stagnated. Where's the keyboardist? An error. We should have 1 billion keyboardists in the church. Oh, where's the drummer? Oh no, error. And then you go looking for them. You go pursuing them, sitting them down to inculcate this spirit in them. Knowing that there's an age coming very soon. We're already in that age. The age of the kingdom. Where it is not just what we are saying that will matter. It's what we are showing. Any man that has this mindset. Pastor, if you know, then you're going to be one of those top army generals in this ministry who will coordinate a church of 30,000 sitters. What kind of person will you be? That's what we're talking about. It will take understanding the skills called unity. Cooperating and working with each other. And then cooperating with people doesn't mean that they will all be perfect people. It doesn't mean that they will not make mistakes. It doesn't mean that they will not go wrong. It doesn't mean that they will not falter. Unity and togetherness, that spirit is what binds people who are not perfect together. Because what is before us is stronger than what divides us. It's stronger than our weaknesses. They were saying in 2015 when Buhari won election that the people who voted mostly in the north were cows. They said they brought cows to come and vote also. Oh, they even brought children to come and vote. They said they brought underage people to vote. There are some places like even Maiduguri where this, terrorism has hit the most. They say, how were they able to generate millions of votes from such a place? That is, you go to some communities in Maiduguri, no human being is there. How come those places were churning out millions of people? Deserts. Maybe lizards voted also. They say children, underage children were voting. You know why? In dominion, numbers matters. Did you hear what I said? Yes. Tell your neighbor, let it sing. Tell him in dominion, numbers matters. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the target between now to December is let us work hard to build that church of at least 1,500 members. Hard. Let's work it. In this city alone, let's grow this thing to 1,500. When you know that you have a role to play, you won't sleep. And then when you know that even your own membership and your own disciplined followership is part of what we are looking for, you will never allow anybody to be going after you anyhow. You won't. You will not. I'm looking for an opportunity to take you out on a trip. Just workers, just leaders, take you out on a trip and then show you what I'm saying. Maybe it's redeem. I may take you to redemption and show you what that thing can do to a whole ministry and do to people. Maybe I take you to one of these places. Maybe I take you to Winners. Real places, not here. You see human beings like the sons of the earth. How can people in that ministry ever be poor? Imagine bringing your whole nations. Is that not what Isaiah 2:2 said? He said the nations will stream into it. How can the nations stream into the church and the church is poor? When we have business moguls in the church, who will be crying of unemployment here? Imagine I finish preaching in the service one day and I turn to one son who is a captain of an industry, a multi-billion naira industry. I say, come, I want you to give God a special offering now. He comes. I say, it's not money. Report reaching me now is that there are 1,000 people in this church that just graduated. And they have done their youth service. So they need jobs. I want you to take half of that number and employ. And the man collects mic and says, sir, I'm looking for more than half. Because I just established 3 new plants of my industry here. So if you are interested, we need all of you. Do you think we'll be killing ourselves with job interviews and all that and all that? It's just simple. When you go, your CV is not even going to go to read in school. You just come in there, bro, good morning, sir. You say, yes, good morning. Who are you? I'm a member of your church. I came for the job. I heard the announcement yesterday. They said, please, personnel manager, get him somewhere to be working. Because in the kingdom, we give preferential treatment to our own people first. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? You need to start seeing that. That's where you are. You don't know. Most of you do not know. But I'm grateful to God the scales is gradually falling off. No, I can see the scale falling off. There are scales falling. That thing that has been holding some people's eyes, I see it falling. Some of you may think you don't understand what we're doing. Understanding has come your way. You're understanding this thing now. I know what I'm talking about. There's a shift in the spirit. And just what? Even this September, you see such a crowd. You will never be. So if you will partner, if you would walk in unison and you will see such a crowd. It will amaze you. You say, is this the same priestly hills? We are not just here to prepare you for heaven. There is dominion on the earth. He has made us kings and priests unto our God. And we will reign on the earth. There's reigning here before reigning there. We want to get that one here before we get the one up there. And there's a technology. There's a way to go about it. I want you to be checking that thing is recording. There are powerful things that can't be lost. You know how the devil does it sometimes. He just goes and then try to disconnect something. Oh God, I have to try to hurry now because I'm also looking at this time and then I'm watching the light too. But I hope we have alternative power. We should though. Anyway, let me continue. Amen and amen and amen and amen. If you see that glorious destiny, then you will not make any mistake. You won't be. How can we have universities as a church? Or even brethren who have universities? Let's be competing with universities. This one builds his own, we dedicate. This one builds with the church, build his own, we dedicate. Then the problem now should be choose the one you want. People should be having problem with choice. Let's build universities and be naming it after our name. And somebody will come there, check, and say, Kai, this university is standard, but let me check this other university. He check, it's too standard. And then he's coming to his pastor. All the universities are so good. Which one do I choose? Look, I will attend all. You can't attend. It's okay, I will do degree in this one. I will do masters in this one. Then I will get my PhD in this other one. Somebody say good life. You think it's not going to happen? It will happen under your nose. Just lift up your hands and give God thanks. Just in 1 minute.
For the continuation of this message, please play the next track.